Hey YouTube, it's Tempest. Okay, so I was itching to do this deck. I can't believe it actually came together, but it's as if it was fated to me to make this deck. It's my Shadow Paladin deck, and what happened was I bought one box of set 4, right? And I pulled what did I pull? I pulled Enigman Storm, I pulled Dark Metal Dragon, I pulled Matcha, I pulled Nemen, I pulled Commander Laurel, um, Diamond Ace, Dark Shield McLear, basically all the double and triple R's for Shadow Paladins and Dimension Fleet, except for Cosmo Beak and Garuru Bow. So I missed two of the best cards from both decks, but I've been able to run both of them without them. So anyway, what I do is I bought another box, pulled the Phantom Blaster Dragon, another Matcha, what else did I pull? Another Babdakar. I just pulled so much good stuff, and I was able to make a deck, and it was like it was fated, you know. So I'm really excited to show this to you, because the funny part about this deck is that I haven't done anything to it. This has all been stuff that I pulled, except for I think this is actually all stuff that I pulled. Yeah, it's all stuff that I pulled. So it actually runs really well. I'll just go right through it. It's pretty simple. It's really teched out. It's nothing really to it. And I'll explain why it's fine the way it is. Some people would make a lot of different changes to this, but actually it's very good the way it is. So I'll go run through it. Starting full bow, obviously there's no other starter except for Zap Bow, and he's terrible bad. So 4 Grim Reaper, 4 Crypt Trigger, obviously, 4 Darkside Trumpeter, stand, 4 Abyss Freezer for draw, and 4 Abyss Healer, which is obviously the heal trigger. Rainbow triggers for this deck actually works really well, especially with the strong rear guards, like what can make the strong rear guard column? The Cursed Lancer's in here, and so is Silver Spear Demon, so those are really helpful. The stand triggers help you attack multiple times. It's pretty nice. I don't know, they're pretty good. I think I'd rather have the extra draw triggers, but this clan only has 1 draw trigger, so whatever. Okay, great ones. Blaster Javelin. Believe it or not, this is the best card in this deck because it runs the whole deck. When you ride it on full bow, you search Blaster Dark, and when you call it to rear guard, you can discard a grade 3 to search Phantom Blaster Dragon. So this card runs the whole deck and guarantees you the ride chain. Besides that, it's a 6k booster, so it's not bad for boosting. Since most of the stuff isn't going to hit 20k anyway, basically any booster is good. I don't know, Blaster Javelin just runs the whole deck, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by that. I did not think it was possible for 1 card to run an entire deck, but it is. This fixes so many bad hands. Alright, anyway, moving on. 3 Charon, because now I have room for 3. 3 Iron Rod. I'm not running Garuru Bow because I didn't pull any, like I said. Iron Rod's pretty good though. It's a standard rest it, drop and draw. If you want to kill up your Phantom Blaster Dragon, just make sure to use its skill first so you can try and get some pluses off of it. And then 4 Perfect Guards. I traded my McLear for some Dimension Police stuff because I wasn't playing proxy these anyway. But in the event that I want to run this competitively, all I need to do is put in a 4th Iron Rod, put in a 4th Charon, and then run 2 Doran Bow, and it'll be fine. I can run without Perfect Guards. I have that much faith in this deck. Alright, running on to grade 2s. Only 2 Blaster Dark. I only pulled 2, but here's the thing about this deck. You really only need 2. I'll come back to this. Let me go through the rest of the grade 2s. 2 Rugos, 2 Dordona. They're both 10k vanillas. Rugos is so much cooler than Dordona, but I could only pull 2. So, 2 Matcha, 8k when she's called, 2 Rearguard, Counterblast 2, search your deck for a grade 1 Shadow Paladin and put it in the same column as her. Basically the same as Akane, but somewhat better. 1 Nemen, when she's called to Rearguard, Counterblast 1, discard a Shadow Paladin, draw 2 cards. And then 2 Cursed Lancer, which is the damage and flipper. Okay, so what I want to point out is that these 5 are really only good on rear guards, and then these 6 are good as vanguards, the vanillas and this guy. So Basically what you do is, the reason you only need 2 Blaster Dark is because if you ride Javelin, like I said, that automatically searches him. So if you have to ride him, that gives you your automatic grade 2 ride. Even if you can't ride him, you can still ride one of your Rugos or Dordonas, and then just call out Blaster Javelin later to search out Phantom Blaster Dragon. You know, it's not that big a deal. If I have these guys in my hand, I'd rather ride these than Blaster Dark, because then I can use Blaster Javelin to search for Phantom Blaster Dragon later on in the game. But really, Blaster Dark isn't as a necessity in this deck as he is in a lot of other decks. Like, okay, his clones, I mean, like Enigman Wave and like Amber Dragon Dusk are so much more necessary than in the other decks than this guy, because the ride chain is like good. But like I said, with this deck, I only pulled one Phantom Blaster Dragon, so I have a lot more backup Vanguards. So Blaster Dark isn't really necessary as much in this deck. I only like it at 2 anyway. And 4 Vanillas are good. Vanillas are good for just beating things down. Machas and Nemin. My friends on forums are telling me that Nemin, there's a specific algorithm you want to know. Okay, so basically for every 1 Nemin that you run, you want to run 3 other grade 2s, because if she ends up in your hand and you can't redraw Blaster Dark or Rugos, you're gonna have to end up riding her. And not only will she not get her effect, but you'll be stuck with a 3k defensive Vanguard, which is terrible. So with 11 grade 2s in here, I could conceivably be running 2 Nemins. That would drop me down to 3 Rugos. If you want to run Nemin at 3 though, you have to bump it up to 12 grade 2s, I think. That's the algorithm. Which means that you can potentially get more pluses off of it, but it also cuts down on grade 3 space, and this deck loves its grade 3s. So I'm only running 1 of her because I only pulled 1 of her, but I think I would only keep maybe 1 or 2 of her in the final build anyway. I'm more of a fan of Matcha because she lets me get Arian Rod and Blaster Javelin when I need them to search out random stuff. And then of course, Curse Lancer is just cool looking and helps to unflip damage, so if you can actually get his effect off, it's really good, because basically everything in this deck, yeah, Silver Spear Demon, Phantom Blaster Dragon, Matcha, they all cost counterblast 2, except for Nemin, which costs counterblast 1, so you really need Curse Lancer here to fix stuff when it goes wrong. Alright, finally the moment I've been waiting for, the grade 3 lineup. 1 Phantom Blaster. I like to get a second one because if you damage check this guy, you're pretty much screwed for the rest of the game. Luckily I have 2 backup Dark Dictators and 1 backup Dark Metal Dragon. Personally, I prefer Phantom Blaster to Dark Dictator, but if you run out of Counterblast, Dark Dictator is a great backup. He's basically Alfred and Soul Saver put together, because when he's called to Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 3 and pump up your 2 other front row units. And then this guy, Counterblast 2, just retire everything. So these guys kind of counteract each other. If worse comes to worse, you choose one and you run with it. Phantom Blaster Dragon I like to have in the deck though, because this deck likes to get mad pluses. With Dark Dictator on the field, there's nothing you can do with the pluses. You're forced to retire them on the field randomly. Whereas Phantom Blaster Dragon actually uses his own pluses for it. And I don't have any Dordonas, or not Dordona, Ildonas. So that's why part of the reason I'm remaining at least 2 Phantom Blasters, because I don't have any Ildonas. I know that Ildonas is a better way to run the deck, but like I said, this is the deck that was fated to me. So I know it sounds crazy, but I'm not gonna spend my Ildona. I don't know. I just like this lineup for Vanguards. Okay, and then for Rearguards, 2 Babdakar and 2 Guojun. Guojun is good as a Vanguard Rearguard. He's like Boars. You Counterblast 2, and he gains 4,000 power. This can be used multiple times. So he can become like an 18k potentially with a Counterblast 4, which is insane. But honestly, I'd rather be running 3 Babdakar and probably take out another one for Phantom Blaster. Babdakar, what he does is if he's called to Rearguard, you reveal the top card of your deck, and then you Superior Call it if it's a Shadow Paladin. Same as Gigantic Charger for Royal Paladins, or I guess Violent Vesper from Mega Colony is a really good example. pretty nice. So yeah, this Crazy Lamp's pretty good. Could use a little bit of work. I hate Dark Metal Dragon too. It's good, but Phantom Blast is just so much better, and the Dark Theater is so much better as well. So there are certainly some changes I can make, but this lineup is actually pretty nice, and it makes the deck work. So I just love this deck so much. I don't know. There's something about Shadow Paladins. It's like they're kind of like the Gold Paladins actually, with Spectral. Well, I guess with Spectral Duke, because Spectral Duke Dragon takes all the pluses you get off Gold Paladins and just like eats them and uses it so you can plus again. The whole point of this deck is to plus 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 with Nemen and Babdakar, and since Nemen and Babdakar are terribly weak units, you can eat them with Phantom Blaster Dragon's ability, and then call Matcha, which is stronger, call out Aryan Rod or Charon behind her, and then use it for beating, and then you have Rugos left over for attacking. And the deck consistently gets pluses and maintains power. And it wastes a lot of counterblast, but if you can find Cursed Lancer for this deck, it's great. I just don't know what to say. It's one of my favorite decks I've ever played, and I never thought I would say that, because I hated Shadow Paladin for the longest time, but here I am a believer, you know. This deck was, you know, faded to me apparently, so this deck probably isn't going to go through any changes. I might try to fix the grade 3 lineup, but you're not going to see me running more than 2 Blaster Dark and more than 2 Phantom Blaster Dragon, honestly, unless I can get more Eldonis. So yeah, that's the Shadow Paladin deck. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have.